We need demo culture back. It's a statement that probably begs a few questions. Did game demos actually go anywhere? Was there really a culture surrounding them? And if there was, what happened to it, and why do we need it back if it even was a thing? We didn't always have game demos. Back when cartridges were the exclusive format of the era, it just wasn't practical to put small vertical slices of games on a cartridge that was relatively costly to produce compared to the optical media that would follow. You could sample games at the store, sure. You could walk into a Walmart or a Toys R Us and try out Super Mario World or Donkey Kong Country on a fixed setup if you felt so inclined. But optical media and the Sony PlayStation would introduce us to bite-sized chunks of games, all piled up onto a single disc for in-store demonstration. Before that, you were playing a full copy of the lone game the company rep decided would be on display at any given time. This carried over to the home as well. If you opened up your brand new PlayStation, you were issued a disc, usually the same one you sampled in-store, that would give you a crash course in what your new investment was capable of. It didn't take long at all for this to snowball, enjoying what PC gamers already had for years thanks to, well, PC Gamer. The official PlayStation magazine led the charge introducing the practice of issuing demo discs to console gamers on a regular basis. It became a routine. When it was magazine time, you'd go home from work or school, crack open the disc sleeve, and check out what games had been prepared for you to discover that month before going back to your job or your class the next day to discuss everything you played with your friends. This even extended as far as PlayStation Underground, which adopted the periodic demo disc model without ever having a magazine attached to it at all. These were peak years of game discovery. No longer did you have to navigate advice in game magazines or use what were at the time increasingly costly game rentals to direct you toward games that might potentially fit your tastes. Just look through the demo disc every time it arrived, and you would get enough hands-on experience with a bunch of games to decide for yourself what was worth your time. I discovered a lot of games this way. Just thinking about it now, on the PlayStation alone, all 4 playable games on the original PlayStation Pix CD, Loaded, Twisted Metal, Assault Rigs, Cool Borders 3, Wild Arms 2, Rallycross, Sledstorm, and The Legend of Dragoon all found their way into my library because of demo discs of some sort. And that's just what immediately comes to mind. Even Metal Gear Solid didn't have my attention until I got my hands on the playable demo, and well, the rest is history on that one. Extend that list to systems like the Dreamcast and Xbox, and I could be here for hours going on about games like the brilliant Flag to Flag. The existence of cheap or free demo discs was also a boon for lower budget gamers who might only be able to otherwise buy a game or two every month. You could stay informed and even have a steady flow of new things to play without having to necessarily break the bank. I'm sure we've all at one point or another grinded out a handful of game demos in place of a full retail release. So where did things go wrong? The arrival of digital delivery made a lot of things more convenient, but it also, seemingly overnight, Thanos snapped the collective delivery of game demos out of existence. Demos were still very much a thing, but it turns out that when you make people go out and download them piecemeal, the objective changes from sampling games that they may not have known about, or otherwise given a chance, to playing as much of any given game that they've already decided to buy as possible before it actually releases. Unless demos are proactively and collectively distributed, they simply don't work the way they used to, and it shows in the dwindling presence of demos on the services that were supposed to help proliferate them. How do we solve this? That's hard to say where we're at the dawn of the 9th generation of hardware, and console storage is quite literally at a premium, but if I were working for Sony or Microsoft and tasked with tackling this issue, I'd start by launching an opt-in service that allows users to dedicate 5 to 10% or so of their storage space to an automatically rotating array of game demos. You allocate the storage on your end, and every month or so, that space will be filled with new game demos for you to try out without ever having to search them out. Maybe if someone reserves less space for demos than is needed for the incoming selection, the service could curate which ones are downloaded based on the user's library and gameplay data. Hopefully it would only take 1 or 2 unexpected titles going viral this way in order to restore the importance of the game demo in informing purchase decisions. What I can say for certain is that gaming was better when that means of discovery was available, and it would be very interesting to see the effect it would have on the present-day landscape. And that's all for now. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'm Patrick Mifflin, sounding off.